Well, are you ready to move on? Want to learn something new today? Hey everyone, Cristin Som here, and if you finished your first block that we did yesterday, this is the mug 1, then you're ready to move on. So today we're going to do something a little different. So if you've been with Cristin Creates for a while, you've probably already done this with me, but anyone that is new, it's time to stretch our wings and try something new. So we are going to do the snowflake block today. It is on page 18. And we only need one of them, so it's up to you. You can choose to do just the one that we need today, or you can do all 4. I'm going to do all 4. That's why I have them all in one packet. And then I'll just save them as we don't need them, right? We'll be ahead of the game. All right, so let's talk about this one. So there's a couple of things. So these are super simple blocks. It's basically a background fabric and then some embroidery, no applique pieces, nothing. So we're going to make this a little learning experience and a little choices. We get to make some choices here. So let's go ahead and start with what we need for today. So each of our fabrics are going to be 6.5 by 6.5. The first one is that really pretty light gray with the snowflakes on it. Isn't this beautiful? I love this one. So this is going to start at 6.5 by 6.5, and make sure to back these with fusible stabilizer so that you don't get any puckering with that embroidery that we're going to do. So 6.5 by 6.5, light gray with white snowflakes on it. And then number 2 and number 3, both of these are also 6.5 by 6.5, backed with fusible stabilizer, and you can see that they are the white with multiple color snowflakes on it. So those are so cute. Oh boy, so cute. All right, so 6.5 by 6.5, backed with fusible stabilizer. That's number 2 and number 3. So number 4 is the minty blue, light blue, silky solid. And I was just looking on the back. You want to make sure that you don't have any little strings. On ones like this that don't have a design on it and it's a light color, you just want to make sure, especially before you add the fusible backing, I have a little string there, but it's not inside. So if it gets inside, that's when you want to definitely make sure to check your fabric before you iron it down, because it could get in there. I've had one before where it's like a red string in there, and that's a bummer. So anyway, the light blue, minty blue, silky solid in 6.5 by 6.5, backed with fusible stabilizer. That's number 4. And that's all the fabrics that we need. Super easy, right? So whenever we quilt these, we use batting. So for our batting today, our final cut size of these is 4.5 by 4.5. So that means that we want 4 pieces of batting. That's 5 by 5, at least 5 by 5. Like I mentioned yesterday, it can really be any size larger than that because we're going to trim it down anyway. And with what we're going to do, you could even use a big piece of batting if you want, but we'll go over that in a minute. So at least 5 by 5, and I have 4 pieces for my snowflake blocks. And like I said, I'm going to do all 4 today. So very simple, 5 by 5 on your batting. And then let's talk about the quilting. So this is where you have your choices. There's a couple of places today that you're going to have some choices. So we are supposed to do, if you look at the Kimberbell booklet on page 18, we're supposed to do 2 of these designs with a winter 2 quilting design, and then 2 of them with that one we used yesterday, that super cute cup one. Well, I looked at them. If you look at the final, what it's going to look like, I personally like the winter 2 design better with the snowflakes. Total personal choice. You can like the cup 1 design better or just as much, doesn't matter. But I like the winter 2 better with the snowflakes. I think that that's really cute. So what I did is I went and I looked at the other sections and what is going to be near those snowflakes. And none of them have the cup 1. I thought, or I'm sorry, the winter 2. So the winter 2 is little snowflakes and swirls. maybe not snowflakes, just swirls. But with that snowflake, I thought it was really cute. So for the cup one, it's that one that we did yesterday that has the really cute mugs on it, the different cups of like coffee or whatever on it. And that's a super cute design too. But for the snowflakes, I like winter too. So like I said, what I did is I went and I looked at the other, where all the snowflakes are going to be. And I thought maybe they are having us do cup one because there's other ones with not the winter two. I gotta keep this straight. The swirls, it's a winter two. I thought maybe that there is winter two being used somewhere near that, and so then you would want to do cup one. Well, there isn't. So I checked the ones next to it, and none of the snowflake blocks that we're gonna do today will have a winter two quilting design near it. So I'm going to do all four of these, all four in that winter too. And again, that's my choice, my quilt. You can do however you want to do. If you want to be really strict and follow the guide, absolutely do that. And if you do, then it is number 1 and 4. So both of these with the winter 2 quilting design, and then the 2 busier fabrics because of the colors, those have the cup 1 quilting design. And all 4 of them will use a 4x4 quilting design. So you can use any quilting design that you want as long as it's 4x4. So I'm choosing to use winter 2 on all of them just because it's a cute little swirl. Oh, there might even be, no, just swirls it looks like. Yeah, cute, cute with the snowflakes. So I think that that will be really cute. Again, you can do it however you want to do it. So our final cut size is 4.5 by 4.5. You've got all your products. It's a super, super, super easy block. And like I said, you can choose to do just the one that we need for today, or you can do all 4. If you choose to do all 4, you could stretch yourself and try and do all 4 in one hoop if you have a big enough hoop. So if you have a small hoop, remember yesterday I made a whole different tutorial just for those with the 5x7 and 6x10 hoop because the quilting design didn't fit in a smaller hoop. This one does. So this one, like I said, we're going to use a 4.5 by 4.5. It's really 4x4. Quilting design. You won't be able to fit it in a 4x4 hoop because like I mentioned yesterday, the actual quilting design is 4.5 by 4.5. So you can't use a 4x4 hoop, but you could use a 5x7 hoop, no problem. So everyone can do this in a smaller hoop if you choose. Or if you have a bigger hoop, you can stretch yourself a bit and try and do all 4 in one hoop. So if you've been with Cristin Creates for a while, you know that we've done this several times, and I will walk you through every single step of it. It will be super easy. I'm going to use Embellishment Essentials, and I will show you on the computer how to do that, and it will be fun, and it's just something to stretch if you want to. You don't have to. So I will probably use my 10x10 hoop. You could use an 8x12 hoop. There's lots of options. There are smaller blocks. The fabric is a little bigger, and you want to make sure that your fabric doesn't overlap, but you shouldn't have any problem. So if you don't have a very large hoop, you could do 2 in one hooping. Whatever works, however you want to do it. I want to hear what you do, and if you decide to stretch yourself on this one. So let's go ahead and go to the computer, and I'll show you how to do them all in one hooping if you choose. Hey everyone, so if you are only going to do one block today, then you want to do the gray one. That's the one that we are supposed to do today, the gray with white snowflakes. And yes, I'm swinging outside in my backyard. My husband's got baseball playing in the family room, so loud. Anyway, if you're doing all 4, great. If you're doing a couple, great. If you're doing just one, then do the gray one with the white snowflakes. That's the fabric to use for today. Hey everyone, so I'm back on my computer now, and I want to show you for those that have decided to merge 4 blocks in one hooping or 2 blocks in one hooping, I'm going to show you how to do that. So we are going to start by opening Embellishment Essentials. Embellishment Essentials is the embroidery software that I use. We've been using it for a few months now, and I love it. I'm surprised at how easy it is. I thought it would be difficult, and it's not. We've had a lot of fun learning it together. So if you are in the market for embroidery software, please use my affiliate link. It will give me a little kickback, which helps support my family. So, and Brilliance Essentials, here it is opened up. It will automatically open to the hoop that you used last. You can see down here, I was on my 6x10 hoop for the tutorial yesterday for the smaller hoop people. So I am going to go ahead and change my hoop. I'm going to use my 10x10 hoop. You could use an 8x8, a 9x14, 8x12, whatever is going to work for you. The bigger the better, just because you don't want your fabrics to overlap. So I'll show you. So right here, this folder here makes it so that I can change my hoop size. So I'm going to go ahead and find my 10x10 hoop right there. And I did add that myself. If you have a 10x10 hoop and you see it's not there in Brilliance, I showed in yesterday's tutorial how to add a hoop. All right, so from there, I always just go to this compass and I click H. It just makes it so I can see all of the hoop together. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to bring in the quilting design. You always start with the quilting design. So where I'm going to bring in fact, I'll show you both of them. So I'm going to bring in the Winter 2. Let's see, so it's just asking you now, where is this folder there, or where is this file that you want me to open? And I have mine on my desktop, and let's see, excuse my dog sighing. So quilting bundle here, and then I'm going to open the Winter 2 embroidery files, and then there's block by block or clear blue tiles. We are using block by block for this entire quilt. And then I use Pez for my machine. So whichever format that you use, you would click on that, and then you're going to look for the 4x4. So it's right there, and it does have snowmen too. Cute. All right, so I'm going to double click on that, and it will go to the center of my hoop. For now, I'm not going to move it, and you'll see why in just a minute. So on this one, you can see very, very cute. It's got swirls and snowmen, and for a snowflake, that's just really cute to me. So that's the one I'm going to use, but I'm going to go ahead and use this merge stitch file, and I'm going to bring in the cup 1 so that you can compare and you can decide what design that you want to use for your blocks. So embroidery files, block by block, Pez, and I'm going to look for the 4x4. There it is. Double click on that and it goes to the center. I'm just going to click on the stitching and I'm just moving it over out of the way so that you can see both of them. So here's the snowflakes. This is Winter 2, not snowflakes. This is the snowmen and the swirls, and then this one is the cup of cheer that we used yesterday. So they're both super cute. Either one of them would be adorable with our snowflake. I'm going to go with the Winter 2. I just think that that's really cute for a snowflake. So I'm going to click on this and delete. I can either do it that way or I can go over here and click on it that way. Doesn't matter. Click delete. All right, so like I said, I'm going to keep this in the middle and you'll see why in just a minute. So one thing before we bring in the snowflake design, I'm going to make a couple of changes, and I'm going to click on this plus sign here so that you can see why. See, this default 1 blue is twice and the default 2 orange is twice. And your colors may be different. I think it depends on what you've set up as your preference. I have mine as Glide being my preference, and these are the colors that come up. So since there are 2 of the same colors within the same design, it's going to join those together. And I don't want to join them together because, as you know, this is the 5 steps of quilting and we need all 5 steps. So the first one is the placement for the batting. You can see it here. The second one is the tack down of the batting. The third one is the placement of the main fabric. And the fourth one is the tack down of the main fabric, and then the quilting design. So I don't want those to join together. So real simple, easy solution is just to change one of the colors. So I'm going to go ahead and change the second default 1 blue. It doesn't matter which one. And then you click on this thread color here. And mine, it jumped up to the palettes, which means colors palette is colors that are already in my design. I don't want it, that would make it join. So I'm going to click on threads, the view threads here, and then it brings up lots of different options of thread color. So I'm going to go ahead and just pick this dark aqua just because it's the first one showing. And you can just scroll, it doesn't matter, you can pick whatever works for you, but I'm going to go ahead and click dark aqua. And when I say scroll, I'm using my mouse. So you're just scrolling through if you wanted a specific color. All right, and so I'm going to say okay. So now you can see it changed to dark aqua. And so I'm going to do the same thing with this orange. There's a default 2 orange twice on here. So I'm going to click on the second one, click on the thread color here, and then I'm already in the thread palette, not the palettes. And so I'm going to choose the first one that comes up, which is Blaze, because it doesn't matter what color, I just want something different. So now they are 4 different, well, not necessarily 4, but there's no overlapping. They're not going to be the same thread colors, and they're not going to join. And that's what I want. So I've got that done. And now I want to bring in the snowflake design. So we have our quilting design. We need to bring in the snowflake design. So we go to this merge stitch file, and we're going to look for the stitched snowflake. So I'm going to close out the quilting designs because we're done with the quilting. And then I'm going to find, here's my cup of cheer quilt. This has my embroidery designs, the embroidery files, and then the Pez, and it's in the cup of cheer quilt. And the snowflake is a stitched block. So I'm going to click on the stitched blocks, and it will show me all of the stitched blocks. And there's our snowflake. So I'm going to double click on that. And the nice thing about not moving this out of the way yet is it automatically centers for me. It's easy to center anyway, but this makes it very simple. So now they are together. You can see over here we have the quilting, all five steps of the quilting, and then the snowflake. So since they're not joined, we want to make sure to click somewhere else and drag, and that makes everything appear. I think you could also do it over here. Let's try. Yep. So you could go over there and just highlight and all of those. Either way works. So then once you have them highlighted, now is the time to move them. So I am going to bring it over here to this corner, and you want it far into the corner so that you have as much room between the designs as possible. So it's not highlighted anymore. I'm going to go ahead and highlight all of those, and then I'm going to hit Control-C to copy and then Control-V to paste. And notice it pastes right on top of my other one. So all I have to do is click and drag it over to the next corner. All right, so there's 2 of them. So if you were doing a smaller hoop, maybe a 6x10, and you just could fit 2 in there, that works just fine. You would want them in the center, of course, but otherwise, great. So I'm going to do a Control-V again. I don't have to copy again because it's already copied. So I'm going to do a Control-V to paste another one. And again, it goes right over that first one, and I'm just going to grab it and drag it down here. All right, and there, it's already all centered, all of that. Don't have to worry about that. So I'm going to say Control-V one more time, and then I have my 4th one. Now there's one more change that we need to make. So when we join these, if everything goes according to plan, it will join our quilting designs and the batting, all of that. It will join all of those steps, but it will also join, it should join all of these snowflakes. And notice we're going to have 2 of them be pink and 2 of them in navy. So we don't want those all joined. We want a second to be able to stop the machine and change our thread color. So what I'm going to do, sorry, phone. So what I'm going to do is on the last 2, so you can see there's 4 of them here. On the last 2, I'm going to change the color. Very simple to do. So you would just click on that snowflake, and there's your thread color down here. And you can change it to anything that is just going to make it change. Make sure you're on threads, not palettes. I'm going to go, I think it was down for blue. And it doesn't have to be exact because it's not going to matter. It's not like it's going to change the thread color in your machine, right? It's just changing it here so that it doesn't join. And then I'm going to say, okay, so now I have a navy blue snowflake, and then the last one I want navy blue as well. So one thing is that there is 1, 2, 3, and 4. Well, it's kind of in the book, it's 2 and 3 are the navy ones, and those are the ones with the colored snowflakes that I showed you a minute ago. I'm just going to do my colored ones down below so that they're together. That part doesn't matter, but you want to make sure if you're following the guide, you want the pink snowflakes to be on the gray fabric and the blue fabric, and then the navy blue snowflakes to be on the colored fabric, the 2 colored fabrics. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this last snowflake right here. And then I'm going to click on the thread color, and this time I can use the palettes because I know I want that to join with my other blue, And so there it is right there in the palettes. It's the same one so that I can make sure that these will join. So now we have everything lined up exactly how we want it. The only thing we want to do now is join, and we're going to cross our fingers and hope that everything goes how we're expecting it to go. So we're going to go to Utility, Color Sort. There it is. Oh, so before I do that, let me show you. Down here, my head is covering it. Let's see if we can move this over. All right, so we have 24 color steps right now. You can see it down here. We're on 7 of 24, and it says the stitch count. All right, so now we know that there's 24 steps. I can just shrink this, I think. Yep. There we go. So there's 24 steps, so we're hoping to reduce that. And let's just see if we get it to do exactly what we're thinking. So we go to Utility, Color Sort, and it's thinking, and it says it reduced it by 17 color changes. So now this is really important. You want to click New View. If you click Save It, you haven't checked to make sure that it really did what you want it to do. Whereas if we click New View, it opens another tab. Notice right here, we're on Untitled 1. So watch what happens when I click New View, we have Untitled 2. And notice over here that it brought everything together in one grouping, whereas if we go to that first one, we have them all separated. All right, so that's how you can tell which one you're on. This one has the 24 color steps, and this one has 7. All right, so this is where we want to just check and make sure it did what we wanted it to do. Let's just check. So to do that, you just click this plus sign here, and then I just always check by running down them all. So this first one, the default one blue, is the placement stitch for the batting on all of those. So that's a really important one you want together so that you're not in out with the hoops. You can just do it all at once. So that's nice and easy. And that's where I was saying that if you wanted to have one large piece of batting, you could certainly do that. I already cut mine, and it's just as easy to do the 4, so that part doesn't matter, but it's up to you. All right, so then we know that that one did it just perfectly. So that's the placement for the batting. Step 2 is the tack down of the batting, and those are all grouped perfectly. Step 3 is the placement for the main fabric, and those are all grouped exactly how we want them. And then step 4 is the tack down of the batting. And again, those are all grouped perfectly. Step 5 is the quilting design, and those are all perfect. So keep in mind, there's one thing I forgot to mention, is one of them, 3 of them you would do in white because of the fabrics, and one of them we would do in blue. So actually I need to change that, and I'll show you how. But at this point, all 4 are grouped. And that's how I originally thought I wanted it. If you're doing all of them in the same color, like if you were doing like a light gray or whatever, white on all of them would work perfectly fine. So the way that they have it in the Kimberbell book is that they have on that light blue one, they have light blue for the quilting. I don't know, I think white would be pretty cute because then it would look like snow. Up to you, but I'm going to show you how to change it in case you want to do the blue one with a different quilting color. All right, so anyway, so that's number 5. Number 6 is the snowflake. Now notice it only did 2 of them because we need 2 of them in a different color, so that's perfect. And then the last one is the navy blue snowflake. So that all joined exactly how I thought, except for the fact that I forgot that I want to have a different color, or I may want to have a different color on the blue. So I'm going to change that. So this is all perfect. You could do a save as. Like I said, if your quilting thread color is going to be the same on all of this, you would do a save as, and you're all good to go. Send it to your machine and you're ready. If you decide that you want a different thread color for one of the quilting, then it will change the color joining. So let's see, let's take a look at that. So here's the original one. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and save this one just to finish off this one for you in case you've chosen to have all 4 have the same quilting color. So you would go to File, Save As, and I'm going to save Stitch File As. And then you would take it to the folder, I always take it to the folder where I would find it originally. So for me, it would be the Snowflake. You could do it in the quilting design, whatever you want. I'm going to do it in the Snowflake. All right, so I have the Cup of Cheer label. I have the quilting. This is where the quilting designs are, embroidery files, Pez, and then Cup of Cheer quilt, and it is a stitched block. So right here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to find the Snowflake. Here's the 4x4 Snowflake. Now be careful. If you decide to do it this way, be really careful because you could mess up your original file. But I click on that, and then the wording comes down here, and I'm just going to add like joined or adjusted or Cristin or whatever you want to name it, so that it's different. And that's what makes it a save as. If you were to click on this with the same name, you're saving over your original file, and you don't want to do that. So definitely do it something named differently. All right, and there is my save. Excuse my phone. All right, so this one is saved. I'm going to go back to this original one and see what happens if I change the thread color on one of them. I'm going to do it, let's see, on the quilting thread color, I should say. So it's on the blue one, which is one of the pink snowflakes. So it would be up here. Let's see what this does. It could make it so that it doesn't join the rest. Let's just see. So the first one, this is the first one. So you can see all of them here. Here's that first one. That's totally fine. All of these are fine. It is this second one here. So on this one, because I'm going to have gray, light blue, because those are the pink snowflakes, and then on the bottom I'm using the two colored fabrics. So it is this one for me. It's the blue one. So all I would do on here is open it up by clicking that plus sign, and then the last item, the fifth item in that one, you can see it here. This would be the thread color for the quilting design, and right now it's turquoise, which is the same on all of them, but I want to see what happens if I change that so that it doesn't join with the others. So right now I'm on palettes, which you don't want to do because then it's a thread color that's already in your project. I'm going to change it to Sprout. Let's go with Sprout. It doesn't matter, something different. Maybe I'll change it to like a yellow. I'm going to change it to a yellow just so that I can know that it's really different. It doesn't matter, but I'm going to click Desert Sunset. Click on that, say OK. All right, so you can see that that one is a different thread color than the others, and then we would just go ahead and click that join, and it's not, my guess is it's not going to join everything now. Let's go ahead and see what happens. So utility, color sort, and it changed it by 15. That's actually really good. Lots better than I expected. So let's click New View. Remember that shows us that tab. All right, and let's click on this plus sign to see just what it did. So we have the first one is the placement stitch for the batting, and it did it on all of them. That's perfect. That's exactly what we wanted. And then the second one is the tack down of the batting. The third one is the placement of the main fabric. The fourth is the tack down of the main fabric. I'm really surprised it did all of that. And Brilliance is pretty awesome. I'm pretty happy with that. I thought we'd have to move them around and things to get it to group, and so far it's great. All right, so this one is the turquoise. Look at it, did the 3 that we needed. That's perfect. I'm quite impressed with that. So like I said, you would do, if you're following the Kimberbell guide, you would use white quilting on those 3. And then it's going to do, so it did not put our quilting, you could move that actually, so you could do the quilting. Let's see what it's, oh yeah, you would have to, oh, it did the 1. All right, so it did 1 snowflake and then another snowflake. So actually, let's see if we can move. If we move this Desert Sunset, the quilting up past this other snowflake, I think it'll merge these 2 snowflakes together. Let's try it. It can't hurt. So if we click on this and move it up, let's see how to move it. Yep. Okay, so then we have our 3 quilting together and then our 1 quilting, and then we've got the 2 grapefruit together. So if we join again, I bet you we'll have exactly what we're looking for. So you could have done that on the original as well, by the way, but let's go ahead and try. So utility color sort, and it did not reduce. Well, now they are together though. Why does it say it didn't reduce? Let's see. Placement, tack down, main fabric, tack down. Quilting design, the 3 of them together, the 1 quilting design separate so that we can change the color. And then the 2 snowflakes are together and the 2 snowflakes are together. Ta-da! I don't know why I said it didn't change the... I don't know. So we're down to 8. So instead of, what was it, 24 color steps, now we have 8. So this is exactly, if you've chosen to have one of your thread colors be different, which I probably will. I'll probably use a light blue. I'm not sure. I'll decide when I get there, and so you'll have to watch the tutorial and see what I decide. But anyway, so this is beyond perfect. Like, I'm quite impressed with this. So now we want to do a file save as. So save stitch file as, and we're going to go back to the snowflake. Here it is. So we have snowflake joined. I'm going to say snowflake joined, and then like, what should we call it? One separate, joined. I'm going to say CS just so I know. This is the one that I will do since that is what is recommended in the Kimberbell booklet. So I'm just putting CS. You want to name it whatever. You could name the entire thing. You could say one snowflake is different than the other. Whatever you wanted to say, you can name it and then click save and you're all good. And if my machine were on, I could click utility send to Solaris XP. So that's how easy it is to do 4-in-1 hooping, and look at how much room you have between each of the designs. This will be very easy to do, and we've got them all together so that it's so easy, and it'll be easy on the tutorial too for those that aren't joining them. You'll be able to see each of the steps because they're all together. So very fun. I'm hoping that you learned something new today. If you did, I want to know. And I want to know if you joined them. Did you join 2? Did you join 4? Did you try something new? Are you just a pro at this already after working on our past projects? I want to know. So let's get doing it. Hey everyone, normally I just do one cutting example per project, but since I made Lynn nervous, I'm going to do it again for you. So I'll be honest, I actually generally don't even use my cutting mat, the rotating cutting mat, and I do one side, other side. I do all of them, and that made a few people nervous. So I'm just going to show you probably the best way to learn on these pop rulers. So as I mentioned yesterday, if you are right-handed, you start on the left. Make sure that you have your 1/4 inch seam allowance all the way around, and then push into the sidewall. And that's why for me it doesn't matter which side I'm doing or having to rotate it, because I always push into the wall. Whether I'm pushing this way or pushing this way, I push into that sidewall. But they made a good point that if you're brand new to the pop rulers, you can push into this left side wall only. So when you flip it, you're only doing the left side wall. So let's go ahead and just do that real quick, and you can see you start in the channel like I mentioned yesterday and push against that side wall for that left edge cut. Then flip, and same thing into the channel, left side wall, and push hard against that side wall. And I didn't change my rotary blade like I should have, but we should be okay. So hopefully you can see this. So always just pushing into that left side wall. If you don't feel comfortable doing the others, that's totally okay. Whatever works for you. The biggest thing is lining it up to make sure that you've got your 1/4 inch seam allowance all the way around, and then getting comfortable with your pop rulers. I love my pop rulers. I've loved them from the very start. So there we go. So here is our block completed today. You are going to trim it or square it to 4.5 by 4.5, and you can see the perfect 1/4 inch seam allowance all the way around. All right, hopefully that helps. We've got a few more to cut. So I look forward to seeing your blocks. And my shirt today is Quilting with Friends Will Keep You in Stitches. How cute is that? I made this one when my friend and I went to the Quilt Festival, International Quilt Festival in Utah. So I made this for my trip. It is a Designs by Juju design, and the shirt is from Amazon. I'll add a link in case you're interested in the shirt. It's great cotton and hangs well. But anyway, cute, fun shirt because we're starting our quilting project today. Actually yesterday. Oh my gosh, we started it yesterday, but we are on the next one today, and we're going to do 4 today. Some of us are going to do 4 today. And if you haven't yet, you want to subscribe to Cristin Creates. So on the YouTube channel, right below here, I don't know, it might come up here, but there's a little button that says subscribe, and you just click on that to subscribe, and then you'll get notification whenever there's a new update, whenever we have a next tutorial for our project.